Last time we took a look at tweets from people who think Leafy's termination is a good thing. Now let's take a look at tweets from people who, like me, see this as a bad thing. Aiden Projects tweets out, YouTube just terminated Leafy's channel. The dude literally reshaped the landscape on YouTube, and all of it is now gone in seconds. Creepshow says, okay, but Leafy's entire channel is gone? Is this a glitch? Dara Prim says, Leafy banned for talking about the stock market and giving economic lessons. Okapi says, this is why Leafy was banned, showing the tweet that Leafy made saying PewDiePie is racist. Jay Aubrey takes that tweet and the screenshot of Leafy being banned for harassment and says, yeah, that'll do it. Turkey Tom says, did Leafy's channel just get fucking deleted? Mudahar says, Leafy has disappeared. Billy the Fridge says, what the fuck, YouTube? What have you done to Leafy? Nicholas Diorio says, holy fuck, Leafy was just deplatformed. YouTube has a 3-strike system that they openly avoid using to just terminate channels outright. Laughing my ass off. It's so corrupt. It's a Gundam says, whether you like Leafy or not, his ban is unjustified. Do not let your personal bias sway your thoughts on the subject matter of freedom of speech. Satire and nuance cannot be thrown a window, because your feelings or views were offended. People say they love freedom, but desire subjectation of others they do not agree with, or believe deserve to exist. As a descendant of the First Nation, what I see here politically worries me. I see people who want to colonize the very idea of the internet, and make it free only for those they deem worthy. Scrubby says, Leafy terminated? Well, I'd love to see Leafy try to exist on YouTube today. Laughing my ass off. Hashtag free Leafy, till it's backwards. Keemstar also tweets out free Leafy, and then says, Leafy is currently sleeping. I don't know if he will ever get his YouTube channel back. He did make a Storyfire account 1 month ago, when he was getting community strikes. I don't know if he's uploading here or not in the future, but he already has 12k subs. As far as I know, at the time of Leafy getting terminated, he had 0 community guideline strikes. A few months ago, he got a few strikes, but those were reversed. So he either got 3 strikes all at once, or you know who called Susan with a tactical drone strike. Dear Leafy fans, I used these against you know who, and won. Here, take my cards. Showing the 4 colors of reverse Uno cards. Scarce says, even if you weren't a fan of his videos, Leafy's termination is very, very concerning. Leafy being terminated now means any of us could be next. Lemmy responds to Scarce by saying, no it doesn't. He broke legitimate rules in the TOS. If you don't follow them, the consequences will get you. That's how it works. 2001 Toyota Corolla replies, Taddy tried to commit character assassination on James Charles, which is a literal crime, and her channel is still up. Yes, it's a rule that he technically broke, but it's a dogshit one, especially considering the rule is applied unfairly. Ricky Berwick responds to Scarce with this.
I'm gonna have to rip you off my cold dead hands.
Ricky also tweets out, I banned Leafy, showing a picture of him dressed up as H3. He also says, why did Leafy get banned for mentioning Pokemon? I don't get it. Good night, fam. Showing a picture of him and Pikachu. AugRFC tweets out, YouTube allows pedos and scumbags who accuse people of all kinds of heinous crimes, yet we are all concerned about a guy who called a girl 2 out of 10 or said the F slur a couple times. You can accuse your best friend of being a rapist and convince millions of people of that and keep your channel and career intact. But don't you dare criticize a woman online. That's too far, bro. In 2016, YouTube wanted to ban Leafy, but couldn't because the backlash would be too strong if they were too direct. So instead, they silently put his channel in a crippled state, preventing it from getting recommended to new viewers. Now just 4 years later, social media can ban top figures and not only face minimal backlash, but be praised for it. Staffo says, yes, Logan Paul filmed a dead body and didn't get terminated. But I mean, Leafy said that Pokimane has a boyfriend? That's too far. Repsion says, Leafy losing his channel raises big concerns for hundreds of other channels on the platform. The standard becomes vague for what is considered commentary, bullying, or harassment when YouTube is never specific with the reason. I hate vagueness. If YouTube is going to remove someone, I'd like transparency on why exactly they were removed. What video caused the issue? And why couldn't they just warn someone to remove it rather than ban them flat out with no explanation? Remember, earlier this year when I launched my t-shirts, YouTube contacted me directly by phone and told me to remove any mention of Onision in the merch. It was called Onion Slayer. They said the t-shirt promoted harassment of another creator. I removed the name of the shirt. Chris Raygun says, I'm not gonna cry for Leafy, but I feel he should have gotten a strike or warning or something. Anyone who isn't 10 years old could tell this persistent Pokemon stuff broke community guidelines, but like, that's what strikes are for. right? I was literally just saying yesterday while watching Leafy's videos that his channel will be gone within the year, and it happens less than 12 hours later. It's almost a curse to be this correct all the time. What predictions do you want? I'm in tune with psychic energy right now. Review Tech USA makes a Twitter video about this with the caption, "About Leafy."
I was saying to a friend of mine a couple weeks ago that I was like, you know what? I told her, I'm like, I guarantee you YouTube is going to look at his Pokimane videos and say that he was being a bully, according to YouTube's new rules. Guess what happened? I think what bugs me, now look, there's exceptions. I'm against 99% of cancel culture. But what bothers me about YouTube is that with this new bullying policy that got Leafy taken down, anything can be misconstrued as bullying. Anything. I always use Howard Stern as an example. I understand there's two different platforms. YouTube's one platform, SiriusXM is another platform, but Howard Stern built his career on making people uncomfortable. And I always think to myself, YouTube is all nervous about, appeasing sponsors, so on and so forth. And I think, and they don't want to have bullying because they don't want to seem as a place that harbors that kind of content. But I think to myself, Howard Stern called Wendy William a cunt. Howard Stern has people with mental handicaps, and he calls them part of the whack pack, and uses their mental handicaps as part of the comedy. He still has sponsors all over Sirius. He does advertisements all the time. Where are we going on YouTube? Is it just going to be a bunch of, no offense to myself, gaming news and how-to videos? And unboxing videos? That ain't going to sustain an entire platform. Think about what you're doing, YouTube. You can say whatever you want to about Leafy is here, but banning him completely and terminating his channel, real bad take.
The grinding noob responds to Review Tech USA by saying, "Rich, I don't know, man." Showing a screenshot of someone called Apex replying to Leafy by saying, "Someone needs to kill Pokimane." And then Leafy responding, "HDR recon scope." Review Tech USA quote tweets this and says, "Yeah, if it wasn't for this, I'd still agree with my original take. Howard Stern is brutal, but he never says to kill anybody. I also saw the ending of one of his Pokimane videos regarding H3. Big oof. I'm so torn on what I'm gonna say in my Leafy video. On one hand, I'm all about free speech and brutal criticism, but even parodies of telling someone to kill themselves is questionable. Ugh, this one is tough, and I refuse to fence it." Emperor Lemon tweets out, "Leafy was here." Repzilla says, "Leafy lost his YouTube account. I guess you really can't say whatever you want." Internet Unwind says, "I'm not happy Leafy got booted. However, how many videos did he upload in the last month about Pokimane, even if it was just the title? Honestly, I don't think this is the 'it's not harassment' hill to die on. He'll probably be back anyway. He's connected. Lol." Willie Mac Show says, "Leafy is terminated. Fuck this site. Can't be yourself on YouTube." I think everyone is getting caught up with this harassment debate. I think it really does just come down to YouTube hating Leafy. Lol, unlucky, GG. Optimus reacts to all of this by saying, "Fuck YouTube, man. Dude was making his best content ever in my opinion. Not sure how much longer I'll be on YouTube. Gotta take the time to make sure you are enjoying it as it happens, and trust me, I'm doing my best. You see situations like Leafy, and you realize how much the commentary community has been fucked with all year. It won't be long, folks. Look, for several hours now I've been told from credible sources the reason Leafy has been banned. However, due to the importance and sensitivity around the subject, I've refrained from going on it. I don't feel comfortable with it currently." Obviously, he's just memeing what Slasher had said about Dr. Disrespect. Optimus actually doesn't know anything about Leafy's termination. He continues by saying, "If Leafy's content from 2016 is what got him banned, then that's even worse. That means YouTube is deleting things over policies created after those videos even went up. YouTube could put any rule out and take anything down based off that. Not a good precedent. Crazy how Jeffree Star, Shane Dawson, and Taddy literally created false allegations in order to commit character assassination against James Charles, and the beauty community is actively rewarded by YouTube. But Leafy called Pokefans simps and called kids ugly years ago, and boom." Count Dankula says, "Holy shit, YouTube really banned Leafy. Prediction. 1. We are sorry, it was an error. Beep boop beep boop. 2. YouTube hated him and just wanted to get rid of him. Didn't care of the backlash. 3. Highest tier Pokemon sub hacked all of Google to delete Leafy's channel. What has been the biggest channel that has ever been deleted on YouTube? Leafy had 4.5 million subs, so was it him? Infowars had 1.5 million, I think, and Soph was just short of 1 million. Daniel reacts to this news by saying, I was literally joking about this in his DMs with him last night. What the fuck? Showing DMs with Leafy where Leafy starts out by saying, in before ban, laughing my ass off. Daniel responds, entire channel termination. Lol. Leafy replies, whatever, up to them. Kavos reacts to this by saying, oh shit. Hashtag free Leafy is here. John Swan says, turns out Leafy couldn't exist in the current landscape. Bashful responds, which is great for all content creators. Let's get rid of this toxicity. John Swan replies, Leafy getting terminated is not a good thing. It sets a dangerous precedent for the future. Bashful responds, can you explain why that is, or why you think so? Just because you were more involved with YouTube than myself. John responds, if Leafy was the bar for complete termination, there are so many who would fall in a similar category. And after those are gone, say goodbye to commentary. Wavy Websurf says, Leafy's ban wasn't surprising, and I think it's worrying. In the eyes of YouTube, if you were a trending topic channel that makes critical commentary videos over a person spanning several videos, in the eyes of YouTube, you are a bully. Be careful out there. In the eyes of YouTube, 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 in the eyes of YouTube. BWC says, Leafy is the lowest bar for commentary, but the fact that his stuff can get him terminated sets a very dire precedent for future comedy and commentary on YouTube. Gokunaru says, Leafy is no longer here. Yeah, YouTube's rules suck. Except when people I don't like get completely whipped with no prior strikes. Then it's like, fair enough. He had it coming. Knew what he was doing, should've read the manual, better off without him, good riddance, get fucked. Obviously referencing all the people who are happy about Leafy's termination. Speaking of which, Catechris tweets out, Leafy made hundreds of shit videos that did nothing but bully other people. Kids, adults, anyone. No fair critique, no thought behind any jokes. Just pathetic harassment. He wasn't suddenly removed. He had this coming for years. He chose not to change. That's his problem. Adam responds to him by saying, weren't those videos made before the new no bullying rules? Catechris replies, why does it matter? It's still shitty behavior, and caused countless amounts of harassment to dozens of people. I wouldn't mind if there was a point or grander joke behind any of it, but there wasn't. It was shit content that caused shit to happen around it. Delta Nexus responds to Catechris' original tweet by saying, to be fair, being terminated for old videos is so vague it could happen to someone else. And even if Leafy's videos were just bullying, why weren't they taken down before? Catechris replies, for the same reason we still get content ID claims for nothing. YouTube is inconsistent. Besides, there's nothing vague about what his videos were, and there's no vague reason why they eventually got removed. iDub summed it up pretty damn perfectly. The Flying Tank Engine responds to Catechris' original tweet by saying, clearly someone didn't watch the new content. Although a lot of people are putting their 2 cents, definitely are judging the situation like it's 2016. Catechris responds, I'm not judging it like it's 2016. I'm going by what I've seen from his stuff. Even if a few newer videos weren't as bad, the point is he still did it. For years. And kept those videos up. I'm not condoning random deplatforming. I'm saying I'm not surprised it happened here. It's DQ responds to Catechris' original tweet by saying, Caddy man, I love your content, but I genuinely think this is one of the worst takes you've had. If it wasn't for Leafy, most of the commentary community wouldn't exist today, and develop into the personalities they are as of today. Moreover, that even though what Leafy was doing was punching down at lesser channels, this didn't get him fucked in the past, even with the content cop and YouTube trying to hide his channel. Him getting struck down out of nowhere sets a really frightful precedent for creative freedom in YouTube in general. Like say, you getting taken down by mocking the mascot of some soulless corporation. That said, him also being struck down is a massive hypocritical move by YouTube, seeing how there are more toxic or greedy people who are still up today. Catechris responds to him by saying, no clue how you can compare making structured jokes in a game review to someone who did nothing but say copy-paste shitty comments repeatedly against real people, who sometimes suffered from disabilities. This isn't about creative freedom, it's consequences for shit behavior. Catechris then goes back to respond to the first part of his tweet by saying, and? He still did what he did, and proved who he was with his response to iDubbbz. Below the surface, he was an immature and insecure bully, dished it and couldn't take it. I follow loads of commentators today, but they are nothing like Leafy, so I don't get your point. It's DQ responds, again, he was a really mean person, and he abused his power during the time he was most active in 2016. I'm not saying he didn't, but the thing is that YouTube didn't have a problem with him then, but now that he's starting to punch up to bigger creators, that's a problem. If that's true, that's between him, YouTube, and the bigger creators that knew who he was, but didn't speak out until they got hurt. Either way, with how much of his content was based purely in mean-spirited harassment, I'm just saying I'm not shocked this happened. Cat Icarus then quote tweets his original tweet by saying, "To be clear, I firmly believe if you can't take shit, don't post creatively online. You will get nasty comments, and people can rightfully say what they want. But if you are a huge public figure behaving like a cunt with no creative merit, don't be surprised if you get stopped." Gamer from Mars comments on all of this by saying, "I'm all for free speech, but this goes too far," showing various examples throughout history of people being averse to new media, and then adding Leafy to that collage. Andy responds by saying, "Leafy's like NWA as a take." Gamer from Mars responds, "Both are too dangerous for society, I suppose." Count Dankula quote tweets Gamer from Mars and says, "The FBI themselves literally shut down NWA's album because they pee-poo-pooed themselves over fuck the police." The Quartering tweets out, "Looks like Leafy losing his channel, I think it's just temporary, has caused a lot of Twitch streamers and YouTubers to grow a pair of balls and start talking shit. I'm sure it has nothing to do with his current inability to respond." Memeology101 quote tweets him and says, "I hope Leafy comes back and makes videos roasting all these pussies who are so brave that they decided to shit on him until he was terminated and unable to respond." Speaking of Memeology101, he probably had the most vitriolic reaction to this entire situation, and although I ultimately agree with him, it was kind of funny and over the top. It started out with him saying, "Rip, Leafy has been terminated, we lost a legend." He then responds to someone saying nice to Leafy's termination, and says, "I love all the pro-censorship fucks coming out of the woodwork during Leafy's termination. Keep commenting. Karma is coming for all of you." He responds to another one by saying, "Another bitch celebrating Leafy's ban. She lied about knowing the reason for Dr. Disrespect ban on Twitch, so nothing of value here." Sasuke responds to Memeology by saying, "This isn't censorship. YouTube had a bare minimum TOS, and Leafy couldn't follow that. YouTube has their own First Amendment right to platform whatever speech they want. Why are you trying to violate YouTube's First Amendment rights?" Memeology quote tweets this and says, "Another pro-censorship cuck who would cry like a bitch the moment Twitter decides to ban them. Next. All the losers celebrating Leafy getting terminated on YouTube, I have a message for you. Pokimane will never fuck you! You are all sad tier 3 fucks who will remain turbo versions for the rest of your pathetic existence. While you were mocking Leafy, Poki is fucking her boyfriend." Carlos quote tweets him and says, "Leafy ain't gonna fuck you, bro. Give it a rest. Laughing my ass off." Memeology quote tweets him and says, "Pokimane ain't gonna fuck you, bro. Give it a rest. Laughing my ass off." Finbar responds to Memeology by saying, "You calling dudes simps when you were simping for Leafy, lol." Memeology quote tweets him and says, "The difference is that I don't give my entire paycheck to Leafy like a pathetic fuck that gives it in its entirety to Pokimane." Non-binary responds to Memeology101 by saying, "Stay mad." Memeology then screenshots his bio saying he's a Socialist Party Scotland member and captions it by saying, "Every single time." Next. 8 Thoughts then tweets out, "I think Memeology101 is more upset than Leafy is here." To which Memeology quote tweets and says, "I hate censorship. I would rant just as hard if it happened to you, and you know it." Zochitl responds to Memeology by saying, "Just say you can't get pussy, lol." To which Memeology responds, "I'm married, bitch." Next. Tizm says, "You are weird." To which Memeology screenshots her Twitter bio and says the fucking degenerate. Next. Owen responds to Memeology by saying, "Are you seriously that petty to where you are going to each individual tweet that says something negative to you and go to their profile? Not only that, but retweet and post a photo of their Twitter page? Get a life, dude. Call me a degen. You'll really get me with that one." Memeology then screenshots his Twitter and says, "Pretty bold coming from a burner account. People really hate cancel culture until it cancels someone they don't like. Hypocrites." So during the first 8 hours of Leafy's suspension, Leafy was asleep and everyone was just free to talk about it without him responding. But once he woke up, he had a couple things to say, and we are going to cover that in the next video. So if you don't want to miss that, be sure to subscribe with notifications on. And follow my Twitter to see my takes on the drama. Thank you so much to my channel members for supporting the channel, in particular Alexis, Pescator, Astemic, The Dank Memes Play, Forever Ghoul, Turtle, and Auzorich for $30 a month. Rubybox Fox for $40 a month, and Boar for $50 a month. Your donations mean a lot to me, it helps my channel immensely. But with all that being said, thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in another video.